Hi, today I want to show you how you can easily replace your engine oil and oil filter in 2010 Mitsubishi Outlander. The same principle applies to basically every single car. Oil change is very simple and basically anybody can do it if you're gonna follow a couple of steps. First, make sure that your car is parked on a flat level surface, so later when you check the oil, the readings are gonna be correct. Then you need to make sure that you buy the appropriate type of oil and a filter for your car. So for this particular car, I'm using Mobile 1 and Polar 1 oil filter. If you've never done this before, make sure that you have correct tools to do it. I also use this tool to grab the filter to remove it because it's just easier. And check your manual for location of your drain pan, so by accident you don't drain your automatic transmission fluid. So in my Mitsubishi, this is the location of my engine. If I go underneath on the same side, which is the passenger side, this is the location of the oil pan. So this is where I'm gonna be draining my engine oil. Transmission is right here. Don't do that. So make sure you drain the correct pan. I'm gonna be draining that to my oil drain container. So for 2010 Mitsubishi Outlander, I'm using 17mm socket. It's gonna go right here. The location of the filter is right here. So here's my drain location, number 17. And I'm gonna open that. Okay, loosen up a little bit. Make sure that your oil drain pan is ready. So when you start draining, you don't have a bunch of oil on the floor. Alrighty. Alrighty. Now I'm gonna let it drain, and I usually leave it for about like half an hour. I'm gonna go do something around the house, and then when the whole pan is drained, then I'm gonna come back and then I'm going to remove the oil filter and drain that, and we're gonna start the process of filling it up. To drain it better, also lift up that oil dipstick. So now the oil is drained. Now I'm gonna put the plug back in, and this part is gonna be done. Okay. Now make sure when you tighten the screws not to over tighten that. Make it nice and clean. Now it's time to remove the oil filter. This is a little bit more messy because of the location. If you cannot get a good grip to open that, to release and remove the filter, I really can't do it. So I'm using this device that I put around the filter. So now that metal outside the ring is gonna hold the filter, and I'm gonna be able to have a nice pull. Okay, so okay, now it's loose, and now I'm gonna slowly rotate it counterclockwise, making sure that your pan, which is right here, right underneath. And this is always a little bit messy, so do it slowly. There you go. So I want to drain a little bit of that oil first before I flip it and remove the filter. Okay. have bunch of rags handy and wear gloves when you do it. Okay. Okay, and now I'm draining the rest of the oil from the filter. Also make sure that you don't dump the oil outside somewhere. Advanced Auto Parts is the store that I always go to. I take the whole container with the oil, or you can just pour container into different plastic bottles, recycle the used oil. They do it for free. Now this is my new filter. For this car is PL14610, and I'm using the filter that's gonna last up to 10,000 miles. That's the filter that I like to use. Then take a little bit of oil and put it on the gasket. Now, very important thing is to make sure that there are no leftovers from the old gasket around that edge. So once you put a new filter, there's nothing obstructing that seal. Okay, so this is my new filter. And to tighten that, you don't need to use any other tools. You just make it tight with your hands. Don't over tighten that, so you don't want to break the seal. So tighten that with your hand is just enough, and that's perfect. That's all we need. Now, since we know that the filter is on, check if the oil plug is installed so you don't lose the oil. So I know that those two are secured. Now it's time to put the oil back into the engine. So here's my used oil. I'm gonna take it in this container to Advanced Auto Parts for recycling. Now it's time to put the oil back, and the vehicle might be different. For my Mitsubishi, I know that I need 4.5 quarters of the oil. I'm using Mobil 1 5W20. So we just need to open the oil. Okay, so this is where we're gonna put the oil back in. And I want to make sure there is no debris getting into my engine. So I want to clean this area around. Now it's time to check. And I have, okay, 2 more left, so I need 1.5. And then once we're going to be getting closer to what I know I need to put in, then I'm gonna start measuring and checking the level of the oil. The best way is to check the actual oil level on a warm engine. So I'm going to, okay, I still have about half left, and you don't want too much oil, you don't want not enough either. So I know I have another half to go. So I'm gonna close the oil cap and I'm gonna run the engine, and we're gonna check the oil level. Don't run the engine without the oil cap on, otherwise you're gonna have oil all over the place. Alrighty, so I'm gonna start my engine, and my engine is gonna be cool, so I need to run it for a few minutes so I can successfully check the level. And I'm gonna leave the car on park. You can also just go and drive a little bit to warm it up faster. So now I have to add a little bit more oil. It's not enough. Okay, so let's put a little bit more. Now I'm gonna go slow because I don't want to overfill. And we're gonna repeat the process. Start the engine, let it run for a minute, then stop, check the level again. Okay, let's check again. Alright, so first remove it, clean it, put it back in again, and try to do it really fast so the levels is not gonna drop too much. And we are exactly at 1/2, so I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, between those two dots. So I know that my lever is very good now. You can always recheck it the next day just to double check if the level has not dropped, but I see everything's fine. Now I'm ready to go. So you keep checking the levels until everything's correct, and this is really as easy as you could see on the video. Anybody can do it. All you need is probably half an hour of time, couple of tools, and anybody can do it. After you've changed your oil, you may also want to reset your service reminders, and this process I will show in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye.